So the next question here is World War III imminent? Okay, so are we going to go through another world war? Okay, first of all, let's just say it as it is. World War III is over already. Maybe you're talking about maybe World War IV, but not World War III. World War III is over, and it's because, or has already taken place, and it's because as the wars continued, there was always from the warlords an idea of not destroying as many things, but still accomplishing the same overall purpose of war, which is just to divide. Okay? So instead of tearing everything up and starting all over again, why not just accomplish what war is capable, what is the purpose of war without tearing everything up? That was the endeavor. So since the purpose of war was to divide, that's when TV came. Chemicals, all sorts of different devices that were experimented with, not only by the paranormal division, but also even the United States industrial complex and all their psychological complexes. Like, there was more psych wards in the United States than there was churches at a certain point. So there was this period, as you see with the MK Ultra, et cetera, which all the documents are now published. The documents of MK Ultra, which are now declassified, are so extensive, you can't even read them all. You almost just get burned out. It's like, all right, well, I know they experimented on dogs, any other life forms, Wi-Fi, frequencies, anything they could come up with to how to change and manipulate and control and all that kind of stuff. So that research is already done. So much is done that they could declassify the whole thing and count on you not reading it. Count on somebody not even being able to OCR and optical correct the text and then actually get it into something to where somebody's able to at least search it. All of that, they're going to just be overwhelmed with data once we're done. Once this internet comes, there's going to be so much knowledge out there, they ain't going to know tit for tat, piddle from post, because they have no guideline. And it's the same thing with the body. They can be in the bodies. We can have billions of bodies. We got 8 billion bodies. As long as they don't have a manual to the bodies, we never have to worry about anything really occurring that's that threatening for us. And this is, of course, the controllers, the kings, the shades. That's their conversation. It's overload. So World War III was an overload, a desensitization, and a degeneration, and a division, all taking place through all these different things. Like, you like Lakers? I'm a Bulls fan. Yeah, deal with it. You like Crips? I'm a Blood. You like Nicki Minaj? Cardi B. I'm more like on that Cardi B level. You see what I mean? So there's so many divisive components now. That was World War III. And now, what do the people do? They can't really agree with each other. It's worse than even probably in the last time that we were doing this and we destroyed the world. People are so disconnected because they have so many different things that appear to them to be separate, when really, basically from what I've seen, it's like a 1% part of you that makes you unique. And while that's beautiful and that's your own spin, it is still a very small amount to the rest of how everything is put together. And it's only when you go deep, as we talked about earlier today, do you see these differences. So we talk about basically World War IV. Many are divided within their own opinion, so you get it now. And of course, well, that's World War III. So how do we win World War IV? Because the war gods are not going to stop. It's like an incessant onslaught. They have zero chill with this kind of behavior, because also steel sharpens steel. So when you figure this out, you will become a greater being. So there's also no harm, no foul. Everything is basically your decision, whether you want to accept that or not. So obviously the internal unity, as I'm explaining here, bringing your bodies into an alignment and an agreement. Hey, Mr. Taste Bud, why don't we find something that's just good for you, but also good for the rest of us? And I'm sure you're smart enough, Mr. Brain, to figure that out. And then pretty soon you have your meal in front of you. Okay? And then also you're removing all of the external deities. People still can't let it go. It is an addiction. External deity is an addiction. It is one of the most unpronounced addictions in the world. It is probably more infectious than the opiate virus or the opiums, right? And this is because if you go in every single culture, they always have something external to them right there that they're worshiping and bowing down and praying to, and they're totally ignoring themselves. They're giving this food, money, and everything to all, and energy, mainly essence, belief, all the stuff that you should be giving yourself, you're already disposing of it externally. It's going in the trash, right? So how we win World War IV is by removing this external stuff and focusing that energy back within. And then obviously, to get to then external unity, step-by-step process here, we then get to sustainability. Actually starting to sober out, especially for my young folks. If you're working, you're tired of working, you're tired of doing all these things because you don't have goals. Set simple goals. And don't try to accomplish something in one day. I'm going to become sovereign. And then the next day comes, you're not sovereign. Now you're pissed off, you're not sovereign. I mean, come on. You need the time and the experience, but set the goal. Okay, my goal is, and this is one of my goals, I'm going to get some land. I'm going to spend some time doing that, figure out the place that I can get the most powers on that land. Powers are well water, sun that's not so much at too high of an intensity. Because remember, just because solar panels take in sun, it doesn't mean that they want to be in the desert. They get hot. Okay, so all the powers. There's a river running there. There's another power. You can use hydroelectrics. So you find a place that has some power, and then you set your intentions to acquire that place. Even if you have to go and get a loan at first, at least it's not more loans for more electronics. More things that are just going to depreciate. Another car loan. Even if you're getting a loan for that moment, now you get that loan, and then you're going to pay off that loan as fast as possible. And then you're going to own that. And no matter what happens, you'll be surprised. Like when you make these moves, these are the energetic updates. These are the energetic upgrades. This is how even one can pass through chakras in the as above, so below way. You could do things on the as below that raise things up in the as above. So if I become a sovereign on land, now I got my own land, watch how you feel. When the clock hits at 6 a.m, you'll get up and you'll feel comfortable in the meditation. Not that, oh my goodness, I got to be to work. I hope traffic ain't bad today on the I-85. You don't care none about all of that stuff. You'll do it at your own pace. And of course, as you've learned from so many of these financial masters, that is the condition that you want to be in to truly create something. You want to be, calm and relaxed. And in your skin, in your space, and know that you're on a firm foundation, not that somebody's gonna be able to yank that off from underneath you and then you're gonna starve. Because that, those impending things of happening may not even be realistic to be occurring, but the subconscious mind, because it wants that security, it feels like that. It's like, yo, man, we standing on somebody else's stuff. We need to get our own stuff. And then if we don't have our mentors in place to let us know, this is what you should do. Don't freak out. There's also these technologies. These technologies are pretty on point as far as the battery. They got a new battery. It lasts forever. Like this damn battery is impressive. They just want to put it in a car, something else that depreciates. I saw another device that they released on CES 2020 where it's a smart breaker. It's not actually tied into any external networks. You can, but it also operates outside of any network. And what it does, because it ties right into an app on your phone, is let you know how much power you're really burning, what is really burning that power, and at the push of a button, you can turn it off. It's imperative to understand this. Google themselves was able to save 70% of their power consumption by bringing this kind of thing into play to begin to do Overwatch. Judy's computer is still on. The screen is off, but the computer is on. We have a center that's sitting right in Arizona getting pelted by heat. Why don't we move it to North Dakota? It would solve the same purpose and put it closer to the backbone. So this is what they have enlisted AI also to do for them. Now their energy is down 70%. And it's not because they always go, because we're becoming more green and sustainable. No, because they're saving money. And they're able to take all of those resources and put it into growing their machine rather than expending it on just buying power and energy. But again, these kind of technologies, they're not the issue. The issue is who's using the technology and what we're using it for. So right now, since we have this advent of sustainability hitting into all of the major markets, everybody's talking about they got vegan leather. They got like vegan shoes now. I'm like, is you serious? This is a gluten-free shoe? I mean, what are we doing here? But it's because there's a trend to preserve the environment. A lot are using their time and their energy and their consciousness and, their own pursuit of wealth to start creating things that actually are technologies that equal this sustainable blueprint that society is saying they want. So that'd be another part of the investment. Let me put some batteries in here. Let me get a system going on. They got one system you lay in the river. And because of the way it's shaped, when the water's coming down the river, it turns a turbine. It's got two cords coming out of it, and you just put the cords into the batteries, and it charges the batteries. So what I'm saying is that it's not as complicated as creating a nuclear power plant to get yourself sustainable on land. But it is complicated at times for one to get to the mindset that that's something that they need to begin to plan for now, even if you don't have the money to buy the land. Go find the land first. Start bringing it in. People are always manifesting things like, I manifest another good job. Okay. For what? So you can keep working? Like if you're going to manifest that next good job, let that next good job be manifested because you're paying for this land that you already found. Because what this does is it puts you on a foundation. You know where you're going. You're not saying to yourself, well, I'm going to wait until I get the money and then I'm going to start searching for the land. That's not the way to do it. That's backwards. You go and find the land, spend the time. You can go and start seeing the place. And then once you see the place that you want, now you get a motor in that tense. You get some motivation of why you're even working. Then, the boss is not pissing you off anymore because then you're like, I don't even care what he says. I only have X amount of more work days to go before I acquire my land. So do you see? So you start making the moves. And they give these pointers at times in these self-help courses, but it's always skewed. They tell you, well, put yourself into the mindset that you've already been able to achieve it, and then you'll get it. And it's like, kind of. But what is it that you're trying to achieve? And is that really going to set your subconscious at ease? And those actions that you're making, there's some that you can do now physically. Go start grabbing that paper. Go to the bank. Grab the REO list and ask them, well, on the repo list, is there land you got that is coming in the repo? Oh, yeah. And then you'd be surprised. Because then as you're setting this up, because this is all happening somewhere else too, it's all happening on another side of things. You start providing yourself the resources in order for you to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish here. It's an omniscient reality, omnipotent reality. But you got to meet yourself on both sides. So that's how you win a war. You eliminate the enemies. You're on both sides now.